Imagine a world where mythical beasts weren't just folklore, but walked among us. From the wild Wendigo to the horrific Hydra, some creatures are truly the stuff of nightmares. Guaranteed sleepless nights from the very first story. I'm Mike with List 25, and I want you to join me as I hunt 25 terrifying beasts you're glad aren't real. But before we begin, as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. That notification bell really helps the channel. With that being said, let's go hunting. 25. The Snallygaster. If you're in Maryland and you hear the sound of giant wings beating, you'd better get out of there quick. You're about to be eaten by the Snallygaster, a reptile that flies like a hawk. It also has gnarly talons and a beak, which for some reason is made of metal. Admittedly, the name is strange, but Snallygaster derives from German Schnellergeist, or fast ghost, making the beast even scarier. The grim tale was first mentioned in 1735, and like many monsters, the Snallygaster was used to frighten children, probably so they'd behave themselves. 24. The Tatzelwurm. Cat lovers, look away now, because you're about to meet a beast that's part moggy and part serpent. The Tatzelwurm is long, like a snake, and makes a hissing noise. It also has terrible breath, so you can smell it too. As with the Snallygaster, the name Tatzelwurm is German and roughly translates as paw dragon. We've known about this creature since the Middle Ages, where it was said to eat both animals and people. We don't exactly know where it lives. It might be a cave or a meadow, but probably the former. Though a meadow doesn't really sound like the creepiest place for a lair, but you know what? I'm not going to argue with the Tatzelwurm. 23. The Midgard Serpent. Did you know Loki fathered a giant serpent? And when I say giant, I am not kidding. This is the terrifying Midgard Serpent from Norse mythology, which is so big it stretches right around the globe. Its actual name is Jormungandr, and Loki made him by getting jiggy with Angerboda. Both Loki and Angerboda were giants, so they produced the mother of all snakes. Apparently, the Midgard Serpent is holding our planet in a kind of death grip, with its mouth swallowing its tail. But why? It's all part of the Ragnarok doom prophecy, where the serpent will eventually let go and poison humanity, making us extinct. If you're thinking Thor might come along to save us, well, think again. The legend says not even he can beat this all-powerful beast. 22. The Beast of Gévaudan. This ravenous wolf story can almost be true. In the 1760s, the province of Gévaudan in France lost over 100 people to animal attacks. These onslaughts came from the same animal, a giant red wolf that could literally pull people's heads off their bodies. What's particularly shocking about this case is that King Louis XV got involved, sending his own royal guards to the province to bring the beast down. So the situation was being treated very seriously, making me wonder if there was an actual werewolf-type creature terrorizing the French countryside. By 1767, the problem appeared to have been solved thanks to a hunter named Jean Chastel. He definitely shot a big wolf, but whether it was the right wolf or not isn't clear. For all we know, the Beast of Gévaudan is still out there looking for victims. 21. Vodyanoy. Is it normal to see old men with weird green beards standing around in rivers? Nope. So if you do spot a guy in that situation, then run for the hills. It's probably the Slavic Vodyanoy. The part man, part frog pops out of the water and drags you to a watery grave. Once you're dead, he takes your soul and you become his servant forever. Other warning signs to watch out for are bread and butter, or tobacco, which are left out by many locals as a mark of fear and respect. The good news is that this catfish riding menace probably isn't real. He's more of a cautionary tale so that people, especially kids, are super careful in the water. 20. The Hopkinsville Goblins. Imagine being at home when you hear strange scratching at your door. Then you see little yellow eyes at the window. This is exactly what happened to the Sutton and Taylor families one night in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, when 3-foot-high goblins paid them an unannounced visit in 1955. The Hopkinsville Goblins were described as having glowing eyes, big heads, long arms, and claws, so they weren't there to borrow a cup of sugar. The families found themselves fighting for their lives with a pitch battle involving guns that sound like something from a monster movie. Because multiple people were involved, it's tough to think they're lying about the incident. But is there a rational explanation? Some people believe the house was attacked by owls, while others think the goblins were intruders from another world. 19. Dover Demon. Did a crazy alien land in New England in 1977? Over 2 nights, people described seeing a 3 to 4 foot high ET, sporting a melon head and a face that only had eyes on it. Those eyes were bright orange, and the thing had extended arms and legs with no hair. The so-called Dover Demon could have come from hell, but many people thought it was an alien. For starters, it matches a classic alien description, and secondly, it didn't stick around long. After those couple of nights, it was never seen again. Of course, it might have been an animal on the loose, with people being freaked out and processing the image as a monster. I should also note that a lot of those who saw the demon were teenagers, not always the most reliable of witnesses. Until the thing appears again, we'll never know who or what it was. 18. El Silbón. El Silbón is a scary story from Venezuela and Colombia. It stars a walking skeleton carrying a bag of bones and whistling. I could leave the story there, and you'd still have nightmares. But let's be strong and explore the legend a little further. El Silbón was a regular human being who became this way through committing a horrible crime. He murdered his dad, and that's who the bones in his bag belonged to. El Silbón targets people up to no good, attacking them when they're exposed and turning them into piles of bones, which also go into the bag with Papa. He's also been known to drain the booze from an alcoholic's body, making him a thirsty beast and a dangerous one. Another fascinating yet frightening fact about El Silbón is the volume of his whistle. It's believed that if the whistle sounds far away, he's actually pretty close. Bizarre, right? 17. Huay Chivo. Is it a goat? Is it a man? Is it a vampire? Actually, he's all three. This is Huay Chivo, an ancient Mayan legend who comes out at night to eat your livestock. This beast is a farmer's worst nightmare. Huay Chivo's red eyes glow in the dark, and if you listen closely, you might hear his hooves on the ground. His stomping ground is the area of Yucatan, where people hope to avoid him by praying and using good luck charms. The name comes from Spanish and the Yucatec Mayan language, translating as goat sorcerer. Before he was a man-goat, he was just a man. At least that's what some people think. Others believe him to be a malevolent magician with shape-shifting abilities. Either way, lock up your chickens. 16. Aztec Water Monster. If you see a hand coming out of a river, be warned. It might not be a person in trouble, but part of the Ahuizotl, a creature with a hand on the end of its tail. This underwater beast from Aztec times pulls victims deep into the water, getting them in a firm grip with its monkey-style hands and feet before drowning them. You may get a quick look at its dog-like appearance with pointed ears before it consumes your eyeballs. The Ahuizotl also eats human teeth and nails, though there's a surprising reason why it does this. Sure, it's a predator who kills people, however, it's working on behalf of mighty Tlaloc, the rain god. Following your death, you'll wake up in paradise, so it isn't all bad news. Presumably, you get your eyeballs back too. 15. Giant Demon Sloth. The Mapinguari has shaggy fur and claws like a lot of beasts, but it's also very freaky. This 10-foot-high sloth also has one eye, feet that go backwards, and, craziest of all, its belly is one giant mouth. If you run into the so-called thing with the crooked foot, prepare for a one-way trip to the creature's stomach. Thankfully, you'll get a heads up before it attacks, because it roars and stinks up the place pretty bad. Of course, the smell has been known to freeze you to the spot with its sneakiness, like a skunk on overdrive. There's also some mystery behind what the Mapinguari actually is. It could be a man who was turned into a beast. It could be a prehistoric predator that hasn't died out yet. We don't know, and we're not sure we want to know because we need sleep tonight. 14. Piasa bird. This animal is not as cute as it sounds. The Piasa bird is actually a dragon of the Mississippi River, which supposedly battled Native Americans hundreds of years ago. This was no ordinary dragon, with descriptions making it sound like a mix of different creatures. You had the body of a bird, the tail of a serpent, the talons of a hawk, and the face of a man. Yeah, you heard me right. And what's more, the thing had antlers, giving it a kooky, Christmassy vibe. The frightening legend of the Piasa bird is said to come from the Illini people, whose chief Orotogo brought down the beast. He led it into a trap and shot it with poison arrows, a story that was later captured in a mural by European settlers in the 17th century. In fact, Europeans are believed to have written some of the stories themselves. The painting doesn't exist anymore, which is probably for the best, because this sounds like pure nightmare fuel. 13. Popobawa. What's scarier than a giant man-bat? How about a giant man-bat that breaks into your home before paralyzing and attacking you? This unnerving monster is Popobawa, or Batwing, and it's been spoken about in Tanzania for over half a century. The creature could be described as a literal Batman. Only this Batman isn't going to save Gotham City. He's here to terrorize you with his glowing eyes, leathery wings, and terrible stench. What do you do if you're assaulted by the Popobawa? Well, let people know about it. Silence isn't an option with this beast because it makes you a likely target for another attack. People use charms and band together and try to beat the Popobawa, however, it's always out there somewhere waiting for its moment to strike. 12. Mamlambo. The African monster called Mamlambo is a reptilian goddess who will make dinner out of your brain and face. That's why they call her the brain sucker. She has the features of both a crocodile and a snake, being long, scaly, and luminous. Hopefully that means that you can see her as she swims up to you in the lake, otherwise she'll fill your lungs with water and make sure you never breathe again. Now, this all sounds pretty nasty, but Mamlambo can also be surprisingly generous. She's been known to give people large amounts of money, which is a major twist in her scary story. 11. Nandi bear. The Nandi bear of East Africa sounds more like a wild hyena than a bear, but we won't quibble too much. After all, this thing is horrifying, with a beast-like power and a passion for taking off heads. The sloping back and powerful arms and legs, combined with glowing eyes, shows the Nandi bear is a hairy horror that's a threat to both people and the animals they keep. It may walk on two paws, it may use two paws, but I'm not sure which will look scarier. Where did it come from? They could be descended from calicotheres, prehistoric animals who were actually plant eaters. No way is this beast vegetarian, so, well, that theory went out the window. 10. Vampire firefly. This shape-shifting vampire doesn't take the form of a bat, but a bug. Size isn't everything, as demonstrated by the Adze, a flying terror in West Africa that you don't even see coming. The Ewe people have described how it creeps into your home before transforming into a man-sized predator. The bite of the Adze can make you ill, driving you insane, or even killing you. But there's more to the story than that. Some people believe the Adze feeds on personal rivalry and blood. It's a fluttering angel of revenge that people call upon to infect those they have beef with. Stories like this show the complex history behind frightening beasts, with commentators keen to stress the Adze's status as a cultural symbol, not just a winged predator. 9. Berbalang. Graveyards are scary enough without a cannibal bat creature eating corpses and the people who visit them. Not even death can save you from the Berbalang, who you might encounter if you're in the South Philippines. You get two monsters for the price of one here, as the Berbalang is both a leathery, bat-like beast and a ghost. How does that work? It's said the Berbalang doesn't have to be in its body to attack you, and can chow down on you remotely as a spirit animal. Coconut pearls and iron are good to fend off the Berbalang, together with prayer and other rituals. Just make sure you don't die, because it'll keep on eating you after you pass away. 8. Tik-Tik. This freakish winged creature sticks its tongue through your ceiling to drink blood. Not just any blood either. The Philippines Tik-Tik has a thing for pregnant women. When it's hungry, it seeks out unborn babies, using its long, hollow tongue like a horrible drinking straw. On top of all that, it's a shapeshifter. When it's in the air, it can look like a bat or a bird, so you need to listen for the tick-tick sound it makes as it flies around at night. Protect yourself with prayers, salt, and garlic. Yes, this is a vampire, and a bloodsucker like no other. 7. Yamata no Orochi. This enormous dragon has not just one, but 8 heads. You'd be playing with fire on a whole other level meeting the Yamata no Orochi from Japan. He combines flaming breath with an epic body length. The legend says Yamata no Orochi was so big he could fill the sky, with people looking up and seeing his 8 tails swaying against the clouds. He was usually on his way to eat a maiden. Women were sacrificed to appease the beast on an annual basis, though you'd be wrong in thinking he was just a fearsome dragon. Yamata no Orochi also played a major role in Japan's history. After being defeated by the storm god Susanoo, the imperial blade called Kusanagi no Tsurugi was found encased inside one of the creature's gigantic tails. It's a weird place to find a sword, but hey, at least the beast had been slain. 6. Monster Whirlpool. Ancient Greek myths are full of monsters, like the story of Charybdis. She was a woman, but also a whirlpool. What else could you expect from the daughter of Poseidon, god of the sea? Unfortunately, her interest in water-fueled mayhem attracted the attention of the mighty Zeus. He placed a curse on her, transforming her into a vortex of destruction that threatened seagoing heroes such as Odysseus. The sea captain was caught between Charybdis and the rock monster Scylla, which is where we get the expression, between a rock and a hard place. Now, Charybdis was formidable, but she was also kinda gross. Her powerful whirlpool effect was created by her sucking in water and barfing it out again, something she did 3 times a day. The ocean was her mouthwash. 5. Redcap Goblin. There's a British goblin called Redcap, who's recognizable for his colored hat, and also the fact that he wears boots. Why is the cap red? Well, that's the gruesome part. Unwary travelers supply the natural dye for his headgear, and by natural dye I mean blood. They see what looks like a little old man, but soon they notice his red eyes and razor-sharp claws. By that stage, it's probably too late, because he's super fast, unless they have a crucifix to scare him off with. The red cap can be font with Christian symbols and words, so it's best to believe. Otherwise, you'll become a fashion item for one of the most fearsome beasties in the United Kingdom. 4. Alkonost. This woman may look beautiful, but beware, because she sings a song that'll make you lose your mind. It's also worth checking out her legs, as the Alkonost creature is in fact half human, half bird. The legend of Alkonost is heard in folktales of Slavic countries like Russia. Putting a new spin on the word earworm, the beast bewitches you with her singing and lays eggs that cause storms when they hatch. When you fall prey to her, you fall victim to temptation. That's the old story she's supposed to represent. She brings joy and destruction in equal parts to those who cross her path. 3. The Spider Woman. If you're walking through a forest or similar place with no one around and you happen to see an attractive lady, then run. You're about to be caught in a web, and I'm talking literally here. The beast you're up against in this case is Jorogumo, a yokai or supernatural being who can turn themselves into a spider. She'll drain your life essence, either on her own or with the help of an army of creepy crawlies. In some tales, she's playing a flute, which is another way she stands out and makes herself easy to spot. Is there a way to defeat Jorogumo? Apparently she has a weak point, which is a glowing patch on her back. It'll take some brute force, but if you can pierce the body, you might get out alive. 2. The Baby Demon. This next beast is very crafty because it pretends to be an innocent baby. The disguise of the Filipino Tiyanak monster is foolproof, if you think about it. I mean, who's going to ignore a cute little infant, particularly one that's crying and looks abandoned? Pick it up, and you won't get a coochie-coo and a cuddle. You'll lose your face. It goes from baby to beast mode in seconds, with sharp teeth and a ferocious smile. You might want to wear a protective charm, or try making a loud noise to frighten it off. 1. Slender Man. The last monster on our list is probably the most famous. Slender Man is well known from movies, but he's also different to our other beasts in that he's not ancient. This ghoulish humanoid in a suit doesn't come from myth or legend, but the internet circa 2009. He hails from creepypasta, not a book of fairy tales. One of the scariest things about Slender Man is the way he preys on younger people. Kids find themselves being hunted, stolen, driven crazy, or worse, thanks to the mysterious predator. Another strange thing is that Slender Man exists in the age of image manipulation and memes. We aren't merely his victims, We contribute to what he looks like through our own self-generated material. What would happen if AI joined forces with Slender Man? Well, that thought is a real nightmare. While Slender Man was born online, the character unfortunately inspired real-life incidents, showing how fictional monsters can have a disturbing, real-world impact. Keep telling yourself these beasts aren't real, though I'm not sure that helps. I mean, made-up screen monsters have scared us silly over the years. Sadly, there are actors who played monsters, but you never got to see them, which brings me to our trivia question. Which Bond villain was cast as the Incredible Hulk before producers changed their minds and went with Lou Ferrigno? Was it A. Harold Sakata, B. Richard Kiel, C. Dave Bautista, D. Javier Bardem? Let us know in the comments below. The world of beasts is frightening, but you know what? It can't measure up to the real-life natural world. Our video about strange new species scientists recently discovered is waiting for you right here. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon for another list. Let me know if there are any creatures that you've seen. Email me with proof. Love to see it. I'm a skeptic.